Sayın Bakanlarım, Genel Başkanım, Oda Başkanım, Başkanlarım, çok kıymetli meslektaşlar, David Madon 1,5 saattir şu anda New York'ta bu ana tema konuşmasını yapmak için bekliyor. Yaklaşık bir aydır da bunun hazırlıklarını yapıyor. Şu anda New York'ta 8 saat farkımız var. Sanıyorum burada 12'yi gördük. Demek ki orada sabahın 4'ü. Efendim konuşma hazırladım ama bunu kısa keseceğim. Size David'i tanıtıp daha sonra da David'in konuşmasını yapmasını rica edeceğim. David Madon, TÜRMOB'un da üyesi oldu. Uluslararası Muhasebeciler Federasyonu'nda sürdürülebilirlik politikası ve savunuculuk faaliyetlerini geliştirmek, koordine etmekten sorumludur. Ayrıca endüstri kuruluşları, düzenleyiciler, kamu otoriteleri ve kurumsal yatırımcılar dahil olmak üzere çeşitli konular ve paydaşlarla ilgili araştırma, politika geliştirme ve katılım faaliyetlerinde bulunuyor. Bay Madon'ın uzmanlık alanları arasında sürdürülebilirlik, çevresel, sosyal ve yönetişim, kurumsal raporlama, finansal denetim kalitesi, reformu, sürdürülebilirlik güvencesi, etik, yatırımcı korunması, finansal piyasa düzenlemesi ve kredi piyasaları yer almaktadır. En son olarak sürdürülebilirlik, çevresel, sosyal ve yönetişim bilgileri için küresel bir raporlama sisteminin geliştirilmesine kendisi odaklanmıştır. Uluslararası Muhasebeciler Federasyonu'ndan önce Madon yaklaşık 10 yıl boyunca Amerika Birleşik Devletleri'nde Uluslararası Finansal Raporlama Standardı Vakfı'nı temsil etmiştir ve bu süre zarfında kurumsal yatırımcı ilişkileri kurmaya, fon toplamaya ve Amerika Birleşik Devletleri'nde halka açık şirketler tarafından uluslararası finansal raporlamanın benimsenmesi üzerine çalışmıştır. Kamu politikası çalışmalarından önce Bay Madon 25 yılını finansal hizmetler sunmakla geçirdi. Son olarak da Dresdner Kleinwort Wasserstein'de genel müdür olarak çalıştı. Harvard Kennedy School'dan kamu yönetimi alanında yüksek lisans, Chicago Üniversitesi Booth İşletme Okulu'ndan finans alanında işletme yüksek lisansı, Purdue University Northwest'ten yönetim muhasebesi alanında lisans derecesine sahiptir. Evet, bugün David Madon'ı denetim ve güvence ilkelerinin ve uygulamalarının sürdürülebilir kalkınmayı nasıl yönlendireceğine dair görüşlerini paylaşacağız. David, can you hear us? David?
Yes.
Okay?
Hello, how are you?
Okay, thank you. I mean, you are waiting, so many time, more than 1 hour, I know. We met before this meeting. Now, the floor is yours, David. Please.
All right, well, thank you, and thank you for that kind introduction, and hello to everyone there at the conference today. Good afternoon. It is just early afternoon for all of you. It's a real honor for me to be asked to present you today on behalf of IFAC. I have to say that it's been some 20 years, more than 20 years, since I last visited Antalya, so I very much regret not being able to join you in person there in such a beautiful place. As you heard, at IFAC, I'm the director responsible for our research and advocacy on sustainability-related topics, the topics that are transforming our companies, our economies, and our society. And at IFAC, I try to understand what all this means to the encompassing profession and how we as a profession can contribute to and be a part of this transformation. I think sustainability is a new topic and a challenging topic for all of us. So collaboration, between our profession, with governments and regulators, and with international bodies like IFAC and the various standard-setting boards is really critical and important. I'm really excited that the focus of your conference is on sustainable development and on the role of audit and assurance, and that so many of you are there in the audience today, be it in person or virtually. The pace of change is very quick on all fronts, for company reporting, for assurance, for ethics and independence, and just last month we had an exposure draft from the SASB board that does public sector climate reporting. So because of all of this change, IFAC has been talking to our colleagues in the accountancy profession as well as other stakeholders about the opportunity that we have in helping to enable the sustainable transformation that is taking place. I'm going to do my best in my remarks today to try to set the scene for the discussions and presentations that will follow on this very important topic. So let's start with a prediction. A prediction that sustainability, and specifically sustainability reporting, is going to change the accountancy profession, but also transform decision-making and behavior inside of companies, in our regulatory and government policy making, and it's going to make change in broader society. And as accountants, we sit at the heart of data, information, and decision making, so we have a unique opportunity to empower this transformational change through the work that we do every day. We are the enablers of the sustainable transition, because we will help transform high-quality standards for reporting on sustainability into high-quality information. And then we're going to bring trust and confidence in that information through high-quality assurance. We will help companies develop new strategies, new business models, and new operating models. So I don't know if accountants can save the world, but there will be no sustainable development or transformation without our skills and our hard work. At IFAC, we believe that this is how we should think about the role and responsibility of the accountancy profession with respect to sustainability, whether we're working in government, in a company, at an accountancy firm, or at a professional accounting organization. And finally, sustainability reporting, sustainability assurance, and the work of accountants and businesses will also enhance the attractiveness and the public interest relevance of our profession for generations to come. So we need to actively prepare for and build capacity towards meeting this new responsibility. And this is what I will focus on today. 4 areas. They are challenges that we all need to address, but also opportunities for change. We think the starting point is that sustainability information is not about a new compliance exercise. It's about empowering and changing the way companies are managed. At IFAC, we call this adopting an integrated mindset. And this is thought leadership drawing upon many years of work at IFAC in support of integrated reporting. The central theme here is connectivity. Connectivity that results in sustainability and financial information being used in decision-making by management, in board oversight, in risk and opportunity assessments, in building long-term value, and in how companies communicate with their stakeholders. This requires breaking down the rigid information silos that may exist inside of companies so that finance and accounting professionals can work effectively with sustainability professionals and bring the rigor from financial reporting to the data collection, systems, processes, and internal controls around sustainability information. In the long run, companies who adopt an integrated approach, an integrated mindset approach, will find the link between their performance on sustainability and their financial performance, and they will combine financial audit with sustainability assurance engagements. The second big issue is doing everything we can as a profession to help build a harmonized global system for reporting sustainability-related information. More and more countries are agreeing with Turkey that the starting point for high-quality, consistent, comparable and decision-useful sustainability information is ISSB standards without carve-outs. With the European Union finalizing their own reporting requirements ahead of the ISSB, there's been a lot of focus on alignment and interoperability between the European sustainability reporting standards and the ISSB. From an IFAC point of view, this makes sense, but interoperability is its own form of complexity. A patchwork of national jurisdiction-specific standards that then seek alignment or interoperability with ISSB standards is not the path to a harmonized global system like what we have for financial reporting under IFRS. As more countries adopt ISSB standards, it will become increasingly disadvantageous for companies who do not use them to report. But we need more than interoperability to build a global system. Companies in Turkey, Brazil, Nigeria, Malaysia, and other ISSB adopting jurisdictions need equivalence. Equivalence between reporting using global standards like IFRS S1 and S2, and any jurisdiction-specific requirements like what is being required in the European Union. Next is high-quality assurance that empowers trust and confidence in mandatory sustainability disclosures. As most of you may already know, ISSA 5000, or ISA 5000 is how we talk about it, is a new standard for sustainability assurance that was approved by the IAASB on September 20th this year, and that was subsequently published on November 12th. IOSCO, who has endorsed the ISSB's reporting requirements, has released a very supportive statement on ISA 5000. So the standard is now available for use in jurisdictions that have already decided to use it, like Turkey, like Brazil, and like Pakistan, for example. In the EU, sustainability assurance is being required for the first phase of companies that are reporting under the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive starting this year, 2024. The good news here is that the CEAOB, the Committee of European Auditing Oversight Bodies, has developed guidance for sustainability assurance that is based on ISA 5000. And this will hopefully help develop assurance practice over the next 2 years so that in 2026, there can be a final decision in the European Union on a mandatory standard for use by all companies that will be based on ISA 5000. IFAC believes that ISA 5000 has the opportunity to become the global baseline for all sustainability assurance engagements, and that this will drive consistency, comparability, and sustainability assurance engagements for all types of reporting entities, regardless of their size and complexity. But we also know that high-quality assurance must be conducted by practitioners, be they professional accountants or other professional service providers who follow a code of ethics and independence. So the work of IESA, the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants, in sustainability reporting assurance is also important. And just last week, IESA finalized its standard setting the stage for an integrated package of standards for assurance, reporting, ethics, and independence. Finally, how do we build capacity within our profession to empower its transformation and its attractiveness for the future, to empower the sustainable development we're talking about? So this takes initiatives from organizations like the ISSB, the IAASB, Standard Centers, from IFAC, from professional accounting organizations and leading international accountants and firms. But it also takes personal professional initiative as well. We think the first step in capacity building is awareness raising. We need a shared vision for a global system reporting with assurance, otherwise we don't know what we are building capacity towards. Education. Professional accountants must marry their existing skills and competencies with new ESG knowledge. But the goal is not to turn all accountants into ESG experts. Last April, IFAC released proposed enhancements to the international education standards so that they can enable sustainability in the training of professional accountants. This is a really important IFAC-led initiative that will be concluded early in 2025 and will help reset expectations for the role of sustainability in our professional learning, both before and after our certification. In terms of next steps, IFAC is having discussions with the ISSB and others to determine what our role should be in building capacity for a deeper understanding of ISSB standards. We're in the process of finalizing a project as we speak this week in Thailand that we hope will launch a new phase for IFAC in building capacity for ISSB reporting, which of course supports assurance using ISO 5000. Research is another component of capacity building. We believe that data and research, developing a subject matter expertise on these topics, supports capacity building because it provides a factual foundation for dialogue about where we are in the sustainable transformation, and it gives us the metrics for tracking our progress in the years ahead. And I'm going to present highlights from our state of play research in just a minute. And finally, sustainability does start inside of companies. So we need to make sure that they are getting prepared for reporting and assurance, taking this integrated mindset approach. Professional accountants working inside of companies are the starting point for understanding and implementing IFRS S1 and S2. So globally, PAOs with PIB membership need to be focused on training, and accountancy firms who do advisory work for companies must do the same. So I'd like to now share some highlights of research that IFAC conducts on the state of play in reporting and assurance. This has been a 4-year initiative that examines the largest stock exchange listed companies across the G20 countries, so including Turkey, as well as Singapore and Hong Kong. In February this year, we published our latest report on fiscal year 2022, which is the last year for which we could find public reports on all 1,400 companies in our survey. And we are currently doing the desktop research on 2023 fiscal year disclosures. So here's our global scorecard for the G20. Focusing on the numbers in the green boxes, but also look at the 4-year trends. We see that there's a lot of sustainability reporting, 98%. It would be 99% if we excluded Argentina and Russia. But we find a lot less assurance. It's hovering just under 70%. Assurance follows and depends on reporting, so this gap makes sense. And we do see that there's a clear upward trend from 51% back in 2019. South Korea, France, Italy, and Spain are some of the highest rates of assurance in our study. Audit firms conducted 58% of ESG assurance engagements globally in 2022. So that means about 40% of sustainability assurance is being provided by consultants, engineers, or other professional service organizations that are outside of the accounting profession. The assurance we find, consistently around 80%, is limited in nature, not reasonable assurance like financial audit. I believe we need regulation to drive the evolution to reasonable assurance. And this is important because sustainability information is to be as decision useful and trusted as financial information. Finally, on this slide, there's a big difference between accountants who use IAASB standards for assurance and consultants who do not. And this gap must be closed now that we have ISO 5000, which replaces ISAE 3000 revised and ISAE 3410. In recognition of the size of economies in the Middle East and Northern Africa, as well as other parts of the Global South, we have also just published in October another report that complements our flagship research. When we examine here 20 smaller or emerging developing economies, 15 of them have a GDP of about 500 billion or less. So taking these two reports together, we now examine sustainability disclosure among nearly 2,000 of the largest stock exchange listed companies across 42 jurisdictions. So here is our Beyond the G20 scorecard. Again, focus on the green boxes. Here too, we see a lot of sustainability reporting, 95%. But we observe significantly less assurance, less than 50%. So a much larger gap between the rate of reporting versus assurance than we found in the G20 countries. But just like the G20, assurance is limited in nature, 81%. And the gap between accountants who use IAASB standards for assurance and consultants who do not is even bigger than it is in the G20. So I want to end on some data from research that is very positive. In Turkey, 98% of the 50 largest stock exchange listed companies reported sustainability information. That number is up dramatically from 72% in 2019, which is the first year of our research. Notice on the bar charts the increase in the use of SASB standards and the TCFD framework over the 4-year period. Nearly a 30 percentage point increase in the use of SASB and 50 percentage point increase in TCFD. This is a good foundation for the implementation of ISSB standards. This said, 82% of companies we reviewed used a mix of standards and frameworks, including GRI and SDGs, to report on sustainability. This is a worldwide problem that the ISSB initiative solves. So problems with consistency, comparability, and decision-usefulness reporting, which is represented by that 82% number, will be resolved with the adoption and requirement for the use of IFRS S1 and S2. The final important change to highlight in this slide is the significant increase in the use of annual reports and integrated reports for reporting how companies are reporting in Turkey their sustainability information. The horizontal bar chart at the top of this slide shows that we found just one standalone sustainability report. All the others were information in annual reports and integrated reports. And across the 42 jurisdictions we studied, in the G20 and beyond, Turkey is one of the 10 places where integrated reporting is significant and on the rise. So turning to assurance in Turkey, the rate of assurance does lag the rate of reporting, but it has been steadily increasing over 4 years. And it is at least 2 times higher than the other 5 Middle East, North, and Africa region countries in our research. If we focus on the purple bars in this chart, I have to note the decline in the percentage of assurance engagements performed in Turkey by professional accountants over the last 4 years, as well as an apparent decline in the use of IAASB standards for those assurance engagements. So this is a result of companies using more than one practitioner, including a consultant that oversees and verifies the greenhouse gas measures. The ecosystem in each country is unique, and consultants may be a part of that ecosystem. This is why global standards like ISO 5000 and the new ethics and assurance standard from IASB can be and must be practitioner agnostic. Then it's a local, a country-specific decision about who is best positioned to deliver high-quality assurance that is subject to appropriate regulatory oversight and enforcement. In making the transition from voluntary reporting and voluntary assurance to mandatory requirements, regulators and policymakers must make these important decisions. This is a much debated topic in many jurisdictions, but we know the outcome perfectly. So as a profession in Turkey, we just need to do our highest possible quality work that demonstrates we will bring trust and confidence to sustainability information, just like we do for financial information that capital markets can rely on. So, Jamal, I will pause for a couple moments and see if there are any questions you might want to discuss before giving some final closing remarks.
David, thank you for sharing your expertise. Now I have some questions. Actually, I prepared 4 questions, and let me ask you, first question, what I believe is the cornerstone of our discussion. My question is that as countries are adopting international sustainability standards and starting to require sustainability assurance over that reporting, what should we expect? Is it all going to go smoothly? Yeah?
Well, I think that's a really important question, especially given the timing of what's going on. In early 2025, we're going to see the first wave of mandatory reporting and mandatory assurance all happening in the same year in the European Union under the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. And Turkey and Brazil are not far behind. They're next in 2026. So at IFAC, we're a little concerned there can be a misunderstanding, particularly amongst investors and other stakeholders, about exactly what to expect from sustainability assurance, especially in these first years of assurance. So we think there's three things that we as a profession should be talking about so that investors and others are not surprised. First, we should not expect to see sustainability assurance at the same level as financial audit. As the information I just explained demonstrated, is going to be limited in nature. And this is a key difference between financial audit and sustainability assurance that investors and non-accountants may not fully understand. Another important issue is that there may be scope limitations in what information is assured. Now that can happen because regulation may take a phased approach, limited assurance before reasonable assurance, and perhaps only requiring assurance over greenhouse gas metrics rather than broad scope assurance. That's what's happening in the US and Australia, for example. And the other issue about the scope of assurance is company preparedness. Even those companies who've been reporting on a voluntary basis for a long time are going to need more time to fully develop governance structures and the rigorous processes, systems, and controls that support mandatory reporting that stands up to mandatory assurance. And third, and maybe this is the most important point, sustainability assurance reports may result in modified conclusions, not the clean opinions that we expect and others expect from financial audits. So again, that highlights the level of maturity in companies and their data and reporting. It also kind of highlights some potential weaknesses in governance and internal control environments. At IFAC, we've put out a one-page publication that explains these three issues. And these are important messages because there is this risk of market confusion and maybe even a possible negative impact on user confidence just as mandatory reporting is taking place. So the bottom line for investors and all stakeholders, I think, is that we should set the bar high. We have to urge them as a profession not to overreact at first results. The pace of change has been swift, the entire ecosystem has a lot of work to do, but we're on the right track. That's the key message.
Thank you. To build on that, let me ask you a second question. David, could you briefly outline what companies should address in an assurance readiness exercise and explain the difference between limited and reasonable assurance?
So I think the first point I make is that when we all think about audit or assurance of financial information, we don't think about assuring only part of the information. We think about a comprehensive review of what the companies are reporting financially. But that's not what companies are currently providing with respect to sustainability reporting or assurance. 98% of companies we review report their greenhouse gas numbers and they get them assured. That's a very high number. But that falls off when you look at how much assurance companies obtain over their social and governance disclosures. So companies, over time, have to address the scope of what they are currently preparing to be assured. I think a second element is that one of IFAC's core beliefs is that we need connectivity in sustainability and financial reporting. Connectivity in reporting leads to connectivity or combined financial audit and sustainability assurance engagements. So as a company, if you think about that, this is another reason why companies need to evolve their sustainability assurance to be more like financial audit. And they should be building their data collection, their systems, their processes, and their internal controls to stand up to reasonable assurance, just like financial audit. I think that's going to require a real step change in the quality of information, and it's going to take time. For example, you have to address challenges in data collection on sustainability factors, including trying to get relevant information from a company's value chain. Companies also need to address data validity issues that they have, because there may be imprecise policies or definitions inside the company. There may be inconsistent practices across the company, let alone down its value chain for collecting information. All of this needs to be addressed in order for sustainability disclosure to stand with assurance, especially user assurance. The data I presented on Turkey demonstrated that who provides assurance, the scope of that assurance, and what standards are being used differs between consultants and accountants. So in Turkey, as assurance becomes mandatory, using 5,000, using accountancy professionals, companies are going to have to use, who are using consultants, are going to have to transition to a new standard, ISO 5000, and that assurance be conducted by accountancy firms. And maybe one last thing is that sustainability assurance, like financial assurance, must have appropriate board director oversight. In our review, we found that only 22% of companies have officially designated oversight over sustainability assurance at the board level. So these are some of the changes that are needed inside of companies, we think, if the quality, reliability, sustainability disclosure, reporting, and assurance is going to reach the same level as what we have for financial disclosure.
That's a compelling perspective. It also raises another important consideration. Let me ask you a third question. Is assurance going to eliminate greenwashing information?
Well, greenwashing is a very topical word. When we say greenwashing, I think what we're really talking about is misleading information. If we think about it in that context, I think it helps us find some familiarity and similarity with how we as accountants think about erroneous or fraudulent financial information. So ISO 5000 addresses misleading, not greenwashing information. So is the information a mistake? Is it clearly fraudulent, clearly intended to misinform, or is it somewhere in between, but still misleading? That's the question. So assurance is not the cure for greenwashing and misleading information, but it's an essential part of the process that's going to bring more rigor to the data collection processes, the controls inside the companies, which supports high quality, not misleading reporting for sustainability, just like it does for financial information. With corporate governance, and I touched on this earlier talking about audit committee oversight, corporate governance, which is internal oversight, regulation, which is external oversight, and the use of high-quality, globally consistent standards, like from the ISSB and the IAASB, are critical, all working in tandem, to make sure that investors and other stakeholders are getting not misleading, but high-quality and decision-useful information. So assurance is definitely going to reduce the likelihood of greenwashing, but it's not the answer. I really think that the area of focus and sustainability disclosure we need to focus on next, both for reporting and assurance, is this issue of corporate governance. Board oversight is a critical part of the ecosystem that delivers high quality, reliable financial information. It has to be the same for sustainability. At the international level, the OECD last year revised its corporate governance principles, and they included an entire new chapter on sustainability. So I think it's a signal that this is an emerging area. In our research, we found that most companies, 83%, that's a pretty high number, have designated board oversight of sustainability as a strategic topic. But most of the time, it's in more than one committee, so we don't have a consistent practice in oversight. It could be because it's early days, so best practices are still evolving, but it could be because sustainability matters are pervasive and actually need to be addressed across the board. One thing that does seem to be clear is that the audit committee should oversee sustainability assurance if we're going to have connected assurance engagements that bring together both the statutory audit and the sustainability assurance. So bottom line, I think best practices in corporate governance still needs to evolve, but it's a really critical factor for this issue of misleading and greenwashing information.
Thank you, David. Now I would like to hear your thoughts on my fourth question. 5 years from now, what will the state of play in sustainability reporting and assurance look like?
Well, we're trying to think through that as we speak. We are completing the desktop research for our next state of the report, which is going to be published in March of next year. And we're already thinking beyond that about what we're going to do for fiscal 2024 disclosure as more and more companies are starting to mandate reporting and assurance, especially in Europe and then around the world. The IFRS Foundation has its current list of nearly 30 jurisdictions that have completed or in the process of finalizing their transition to S1 and S2. And it's a global phenomenon. Mexico and Chile are following Brazil and Latin America. Asia has been a fast-moving region from Pakistan to Japan, China, Philippines, Malaysia. And Africa has surprised everybody in the last 12 or 18 months, being led by adoption in Nigeria, but initiatives also in Kenya, Tanzania, in Ghana, in Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Ghana. I think this momentum is clear now, and it's the case for the ISSP sustainability disclosure is becoming as clear as it is for IASB financial reporting standards. Will Europe, 5 years from now, still be reporting under the ESRSs? I assume so, but the political environment there is changing. The big question on the horizon from a European perspective is whether and how the European Union will move forward in 2028. It's an important year, with plans to require most companies who have any presence in Europe to report on a consolidated basis, reporting to amended ESRS standards that are already being completed and are in development. Personally, I hope that cross-border equivalence, not just interoperability, will be agreed by 5 years' time. And over the next 5 years, I think we're going to have to see how GRI reporting continues to change. It's the most frequently used set of standards today. So will the governments who want reporting on social impacts mandate GRI, allow it to be voluntarily used, or will the governments develop their own systems the way that it can use? Whatever reporting looks like, we hope, and I really believe in 5 years' time, companies will embrace it as change management, not as a compliance exercise. If we kind of shift our focus to the insurance side, mandatory requirements for insurance need to catch up to reporting. I have a fear that 5 years from now, we will still be looking at a lot of limited, not reasonable sustainability assurance. So I really encourage regulators and policymakers to focus on that transition. And finally, for all of us in this event today, I believe that our profession has work to do, but that we will be successful in advancing our knowledge, our understanding on sustainability topics. We will demonstrate our capability as advisors and assurers of sustainability information. We may even find a way to work more collaboratively with engineers and consultants going forward. But I think we will change what our profession does for a living, and our profession will be more relevant and more attractive going forward.
Thank you. Now, could you please share your final thoughts?
No, thanks. If I thank you for those questions. If I can just bring up one more slide. I'd like to conclude with a graphic representation of the standard-setting ecosystem that IOSCO has supported so strongly for investor-focused sustainability information. Reporting standards from the ISSB, assurance standards from the IAASB, and sustainability ethics and independence standards from IASB. The chair of IASB likes to make a point that ISSB and IAASB standards are best able to deliver high-quality sustainability information when the professionals using those standards, preparing disclosures, and assuring disclosures, do so with integrity. In other words, acting with ethics and independence. And that's why IASB is positioned in this graphic as the foundation supporting both sustainability reporting and assurance. At IFAC, we believe sustainability is the future of corporate reporting, and we must meet this new responsibility head on. Sustainability starts inside companies, that integrated mindset idea. We need to build a global system for reporting. We need to bring trust and confidence through assurance with independence and ethics, and we need to build capacity to deliver sustainability information with our profession. But because of our existing core competencies and skills, the accountancy profession has a unique opportunity. We can help shape how society understands and uses sustainability-related information to make more informed decisions. I really believe the discussions today, tomorrow that we're going to have, will be encouraging for all of us who have a potential role in this emerging sustainability ecosystem. Turkey is certainly an example of a country on the right path. But the months ahead will not necessarily be smooth. So I encourage all of us to stay focused on 3 key points. New regulations are important, they matter. Turkey's support of a global system of sustainability, reporting, and assurance must take hold around the world. We are still at the beginning of this journey. IFAC encourages all of us in the profession to be part of the call for other jurisdictions to join and support the global transformation and the global system of disclosure. Second point, we need connectivity between reporting and assurance, not a compliance mindset. So we must encourage companies to take and develop a connected approach to financial and sustainability disclosure. And finally, we must work together, collaboratively, toward bringing high-quality outcomes as ISSB reporting begins, but also preparing stakeholders for what to expect from that initial reporting and assurance. It's going to take time for sustainability to reach the same level of maturity as financial information. So I hope those are good words to keep in mind. Thank you again for welcoming IFAC to this important conference. I wish you a very interesting productive discussions. And again, thank you for your attention.
Thank you, David, for sharing your expertise. Your insights are invaluable. Now, for the rest of the night, I wish you a good sleep. Take care, David. Hope to see you
thank you
again.
Değerli konuşmaları için David Madon'a çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Teşekkür belgelerini kendilerine online ortamda göndereceğiz. Bugün oturumu yöneten TÜRMOP Genel Saymanımız Profesör Doktor Cemal İbiş hocamıza teşekkür belgesi takdim etmek istiyoruz. Teşekkür belgesini takdim etmek üzere Hatay, Antakya Mali Müşavirler Odası Başkanımız Sayın Jale Marufoğlu'nu sahneye davet ediyoruz. Değerli katılımcılar, şimdi sempozyumumuzun hatıra fotoğrafını çekmek üzere sizleri sahneye davet ediyorum. Dışarıda bulunan arkadaşlarımızı da haberdar edersek. Sahneyi ve sahnenin ön tarafını kullanabiliriz.